Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
A struggle over a gun ends in the deaths of two best friends. Two families are now searching for answers as to how this could have happened.
Violence erupts in Hong Kong. Dozens are injured as pro-democracy protesters clash with police. Now a protest at the Chinese consulate in Los Angeles.
Another water main break on Sunset. This time a sinkhole shuts down the street near the famous Playboy Mansion. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. Two men, best friends, are both dead tonight. One man was killed in what appears to be an accidental shooting. Then police say his best friend turned the gun on himself. It happened on the 400 block of East 138th Street in Willowbrook. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell has reaction from distraught family members.
Heartbroken relatives of two men gathered on the Willowbrook street where both suffered fatal gunshot wounds.
Devastated, totally devastated, hurt, confused. Why?
Authorities say 23-year-old Gerard Taylor died after he was accidentally shot in the head by a friend. About a dozen people were hanging out outside a home on the 400 block of East 138th Street around 1 this morning. Investigators say for some reason 24-year-old Dominique Barnett pulled out a gun. Taylor got into a struggle with his friend, trying to take the weapon away. During that struggle, he was shot.
Right after the initial shooting, about 30 seconds later, that individual pointed the gun at himself and shot himself.
Shooting his best friend, I'm sure Dominique did get distraught over shooting his best friend, and he didn't see no outs. I wish he would have called me.
Family members say Taylor had recently become a father.
Positive things going on for him in his life, a good job. Him and his little family, just trying to do what's right.
He was a very sweet kid. He just had a baby, son. He's going to have a birthday pretty soon. And he's a very, very good boy.
Police are interviewing witnesses. They say Barnett did not brandish the gun in a threatening manner before the shooting.
There was no animosity or no anger between the two for this to occur. It was a situation where it just was a tragic accident that resulted in two individuals losing their lives.
In Willowbrook, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Another water main break on Sunset Boulevard. This one is in the 10,200 block of West Sunset at Charing Cross Drive. This is near the famous Playboy Mansion. Sunset is closed in both directions tonight from Charing Cross to Mapleton Drive. The water there has been shut off. DWP workers are repairing the 12-inch pipe, but say it'll take until about 3 in the morning to get the job done. Meanwhile, a few lanes are open, but street repairs are still underway on a part of the Sunset Strip in West Hollywood after a 36-inch main burst on Friday. And in Pacoima, a water main break at Montague and Pine Orchard Streets. An LA DWP crew responded to that and immediately got to work. The rupture seemed relatively minor. No property damage was reported aside from the damage to the road.
New at 8, Governor Jerry Brown has signed a bill that makes California the first in the nation to define when yes means yes and adopt requirements for colleges to follow when investigating sexual assault reports. Now, Senator Kevin DeLeon says the legislation will begin a shift in how college campuses in California prevent and investigate sexual assaults. The legislation says silence or lack of resistance does not constitute consent. The move comes as states and universities across the U.S. are under pressure to change how they handle rape allegations. Critics say it overreaches and sends universities into murky legal waters.
A New York City fire captain accused of committing sex crimes against children during a visit to Los Angeles is expected to appear in court tomorrow. Captain Wilbert Riera remains behind bars in New York. There's no word on when he might be extradited to L.A. The FBI took him into custody this weekend. This is video of his home on Long Island. The 21-year vet of the department has been suspended without pay. Investigators say the crimes were committed against at least 2 children on September 12th in Hollywood.
Now to Long Beach, where police are investigating an early morning murder. It happened around 1:25 this morning at 11th Street and Walnut Avenue. Investigators say a 26-year-old man was found shot to death. He's been identified as Guillermo Iturralde of West Covina. The gunman is still on the loose. Police are not releasing any more details, but say the investigation is ongoing. And in Compton, a man was killed today in a drive-by shooting. It happened on North Evers around 1 o'clock this morning. The victim was standing in front of a home with a few others when a dark-colored compact car drove toward them, firing several rounds. The victim was struck once and rushed to a hospital where he later died. If anyone saw the attack, you are urged to call the Sheriff's Department.
It was a day of violent clashes between activists and police in Hong Kong. Police fired tear gas to break up tens of thousands of pro-democracy demonstrators outside central government offices. The protesters are furious at new regulations that they say would allow China to handpick candidates for the next election. More peaceful protests also happen here in Southern California, including this one near the Chinese consulate in Los Angeles.
I'm just heartbroken. Hong Kong used to be one of the most safest places. Police used to be our friends, and I'm not saying that they're not doing their job. They're definitely trying to do their job, but they didn't have to use the violence like that.
The China government, they start to squeeze little bit by little bit about the freedom of spread, the freedom of election, and now it's explored.
Hong Kong police have declared the protests illegal and say elections will go on as planned.
Turning now to the deadly volcano eruption in Japan, thick smoke continues to billow from the craters. Some people were found buried knee-deep in ash this weekend, but there are still hikers missing. ABC's Gloria Riviera has the incredible video.
It came without warning. Japan's epic Mount Antaki suddenly turning deadly. This is the moment. Captured by a hiker who often posts his travels, a simple trek became a frantic fight for survival. Watch this video from inside one of the huts near the summit. The hikers plunged into darkness. Antaki erupted during prime hiking season. Listen as the crystal sky is shattered by volcanic debris. Some 250 climbers, many believed to be near the 10,000-foot peak, caught, some of them trapped overnight. Emergency helicopter teams rushing to pluck survivors from the ashen slope, battling toxic gases and fears of another eruption. The rocks fell like hailstones, this man said. We couldn't breathe. Dozens are dead. Some bodies reportedly found in a lodge near the summit, others buried in ash. Mount Antaki is just one of 110 active volcanoes in Japan. We recently traveled to Indonesia in the Ring of Fire, those 450 volcanoes circling the Pacific, responsible for 90% of the world's volcanic eruptions.
When you're this close, you not only hear that boom, but you feel it. Thunder, fireworks, all at once. It's absolutely amazing.
But eruptions such as Mount Antaki can be difficult to predict. Scientists recently seeing an uptick in seismic activity, but nothing predicting this. Despite the nightmare, there were the lucky in Japan. Survivors off the mountain, back in their loved ones' arms. Gloria Riviera, ABC News, Washington.
Police in Utah are trying to figure out what led to the deaths of a family of 5 found dead in their home. Authorities say there's no obvious sign of trauma or foul play. First responders tested for carbon monoxide but could not detect it because the front door was open when they arrived on scene in Springville, Utah. Police say the family includes a 36-year-old mother, 37-year-old father, 2 boys aged 14 and 11, and their sister who was 12. Their bodies were found by another family member.
More tension in Ferguson, Missouri in the wake of the deadly shooting of an unarmed black man by a white police officer. One police officer was shot and another was almost hit by gunfire in separate incidents overnight. The officer shot was hit in the arm while on patrol near the Ferguson Community Center. Officials say he was doing a building check and saw someone run away. When the officer got out of the car to chase, police say the suspect turned around and opened fire. The incident drew crowds and raised nerves in a city that's been on edge over the deadly shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown. The question on everyone's mind, was the shooting related to the public unrest over Brown?
I don't think it is. It didn't happen within the proximity of the protest area. This is an area that's fairly secluded, and I wouldn't have any reason to believe right now that it was linked in any way, shape, manner, or form with the protest. It certainly doesn't appear that way.
Exactly 3 hours later, another shooting. Police say someone opened fire on an off-duty officer in his personal vehicle. That officer survived with a few minor injuries from broken glass.
Some rain out there today and some heat on the way. Let's check in now with Danny Romero for a first look at the forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jory and Giovanni. Yeah, we try to keep everybody happy. You know, a little cool, rainy weather in some spots, and then if you like the heat that you got during the summer, it's coming back. Here's our Irvine Spectrum Live look right now. The HD look over Orange County looking pretty good tonight, and the temps are certainly on the cool side. 62 in Hemet right now. We're showing Riverside at 65, Ontario with 67 degrees. Fullerton checking in just below 70 at 69 degrees with downtown LA at 67, Long Beach at 68, and Santa Ana at 71 degrees. On the cool spots for tonight, enjoy it. The heat will get here right about midweek. Now, how hot it gets and how long that lasts, I'll tell you when I come back with the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7-day look in just a bit. Giovanna and Jory, go ahead.
Danny, thank you. New at 8, a gardener has been hospitalized after being attacked by a swarm of bees in Riverside. Authorities were called out to the 2000 block of Howell Avenue around 11 o'clock this morning. The gardener fell off a ladder after being attacked by the bees. Firefighters hosed down the injured man and used the water to ward off the bees. The victim suffered moderate to severe injuries, but it's unclear whether he was hurt from the fall or from the multiple bee stings. No word on his condition.
We're being reminded that fire danger is still high as we move into the fall. The San Bernardino County Fire Department was busy overnight battling this blaze near the Cajon Pass. It broke out just before midnight in thick brush around Swarthout Canyon and Lost Lake in the San Bernardino National Forest. The Forest Service, CAL FIRE, and county firefighters all fought the flames. They say the fire was contained in approximately 2 hours. 3 acres burned, but no structures caught fire. No word on what caused the blaze. And the weather's helping teams trying to knock down the massive King Fire burning near Sacramento. The Forest Service says rain, humidity, and cooler temperatures aided in the firefight, with crews making significant progress overnight. The blaze is now 87% contained, up 3% from yesterday. More than 4,800 firefighters remain on the scene to strengthen containment lines as authorities assess the damage. The 2-week-old fire has destroyed about a dozen homes.
After some excessive heat, finally some relief.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll show you where some wet weather hit this morning and tell you if there's more in store.
And an amazing turnout in Orange County as thousands laced up their shoes to join the fight against breast cancer. We'll share some of the inspiring stories next.
There was a little rain in the foothills today. Pasadena was one of the lucky cities to see some light showers this morning. This is video of rain from Monrovia. It didn't last long, but it sure was a welcome sight for some areas who desperately need to see some rain.
Oh, we sure do need the rain.
Yeah.
A little moisture in
a
here.
little bit, a little over a tenth of an inch.
Not enough to really make any difference.
Not really. It didn't show up in many areas, not even measurable. But
and now we have more heat on the way.
Yeah, see, so right now enjoying that kind of cool weather, even some of the moisture in the air, because it's changing. About midweek, very, very dry conditions and very, very hot conditions. Let's go outside right now and see how it's looking on a Sunday night. We go first to our HD camera showing Laguna Beach, and the clouds on the coast will be moving in the next couple of hours or so, and that'll serve to linger around during the morning hours and keep temperatures down as well. Our other HD camera working live this afternoon or this evening will be our Burbank look. Here's the valley. Looking right now clear, but there will be clouds moving in here to the valleys as well before the night is done. Downtown skies are partly cloudy already, and temperature-wise cooler, 67 degrees right now, and just barely a 3-mile-per-hour breeze going on, 73% relative humidity, and a barometer falling now at 29.88. We're showing a couple of things here. One thing, Hurricane Rachel, way to the south off of Baja, but starting to wind down, not really causing much influence on our weather at all. What we are going to watch for to change our weather will be this ridge of high pressure. It's going to make its way into Southern California about midweek. When that happens, we get things turned around from this cool weather we've been having to very hot, dry conditions. I mean, we're talking triple digits on the inland spots. So enjoy these cool numbers we have for another night or two. 53 overnight in Palmdale, 64 for Redondo Beach, Long Beach down to 63, and Thousand Oaks down to 55. Then the highs tomorrow, a sunny day. By the afternoon, we'll see an 83% in Clarita, a 74 for Malibu, a 77 for Huntington Beach. Not a bad beach day there at all once it finally clears out. Otherwise, we're going to see low 80s through the IE, San Bernardino, Riverside at 82. Here's our 7-day power back weather, and watch the numbers change. 78 cool with morning clouds tomorrow, and then we go up to 83 and stay in the 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's the jump on Thursday up to 90, and then more heat beyond that. Friday and Saturday up to 93 to 95 for our Saturday afternoon high. Valleys in the Inland Empire, watch these numbers go. 84 tomorrow, warmer to 89 on Tuesday, Wednesday 88, and then jumping 10 degrees from Wednesday to Thursday, 98, and then another bump into the triple digits range for the weekend. Mountain areas, pretty nice. A chance of showers there tomorrow morning on the western slopes mostly, and then clearing out, staying on the cool side through the week. And even when it gets to the warmer part of the week, a 74 and a 76 looks like a great mountain weekend coming up with some breezy to windy conditions. High desert areas will be sunny and breezy for tomorrow, and low 80s there. Then there, too, the numbers bump up to 86, 87, 89 by Thursday, and then come the weekend, heating things up to the 90s. But relatively speaking, for the deserts, low 90s aren't too bad, but just the same, it is the heat moving in for the weekend. Promises to be a hot, dry one by this time next week. All right?
Okay, Danny, thank you.
Thanks, Danny. It was a huge turnout in Newport Beach today to raise money and awareness in the fight against breast cancer.
Thousands of runners and walkers hit the course in the 23rd annual Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. As Eyewitness News reporter Darsha Phillips shows us, the crowd included survivors, supporters, and some familiar ABC7 faces.
Each string of beads represents a year of survival. Loyanne Abella has 42 beads around her neck.
It's nothing to be frightened of. There's plenty of support. Talk to your doctor.
When Loyanne was diagnosed, she says there was not a lot of information about breast cancer, and it was a disease that was a bit taboo.
Not a lot of knowledge about it.
I didn't really know when she had her cancer. They really never talked about it at home.
Loyanne's daughter, Dory, says her and her mother now talk about breast cancer all the time. Dory was diagnosed this year.
I am not afraid to talk about it, and I think people are more willing to talk about it now.
And more people every year want to spread the awareness. From Jenny's Booby Brigade to Captain Tata's, breast cancer is no longer a bad word, but a word that represents strength, survival, and inspiration.
Every year this event draws tens of thousands, and the people make it fun. It also raises millions for breast cancer research and awareness, and so many say the event also provides support and inspiration for everyone affected by cancer.
Fence
like this get people thinking, hey, maybe I should go and get that mammogram. Maybe I can do my self-exams. It's a reminder.
ABC7 took part in the energy as a proud sponsor of the Susan B. Komen Race for the Cure. Our own Ellen Leyva, Rick Romero, and Rob McMillan signed autographs, and Eileen Frere was mistress of ceremonies.
A day of remembrance, a day of celebration.
Whether it was a tutu, a cape, a wig, or a handful of beads, these supporters and survivors say they were happy to take part in a movement to stamp out the fear, the taboos, and hopefully one day, cancer. In Newport Beach, I'm Darcia Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And another great event for charity is coming up soon. Put it on your calendar. AIDS Walk Los Angeles is just 2 weeks away. The walk starts and ends at West Hollywood Park on Sunday, October 12th. It benefits AIDS Project Los Angeles and more than 20 LA County AIDS service organizations. If you'd like to participate, join Team ABC7. To register, you can call 213-201-WALK or visit aidswalk.net.
Well, people can't get their hands on the iPhone 6 fast enough.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll tell you what's being done to stop smugglers from nabbing the new phones. Plus this.
One of the hottest segments right now is the premium compact SUV segment. Well, guess what? Lexus is now playing here too. I'm car specialist Dave Coons. I'll show you their newest entry coming up.
Lexus is coming out with their first small SUV. As our car specialist Dave Coons shows us, it features many items found on other Lexus models, but in a trimmer, more fuel-efficient size.
The Lexus brand is no stranger to SUVs, but their newest one goes in a different direction. Smaller. This is the new Lexus NX. It has the attributes of a small SUV, like efficient use of space and good cargo room. It also has the typical Lexus touches inside, luxury combined with technology. The latter easy to access with Lexus's latest remote touch interface. And those attributes are what many automakers are combining these days. It would actually be easier to make a list of premium brands that don't have a compact sport utility in their showrooms than the ones that do. Lexus is joining in because it's such a hot segment right now. Luxury players need to have offerings here or they lose out. Buyers increasingly want this type of vehicle. One first for a Lexus, a turbocharged engine. Going with an industry trend, a smaller engine for better fuel economy, with a turbo for good power. In this case, the four-cylinder in the NX puts out 235 horsepower and is rated at 21 to 28 miles per gallon. It's no secret that the NX shares a platform with the Toyota RAV4 SUV, and that vehicle is available as a plug-in electric car. So is there any chance they could do an electric version of this one? Well, sort of. In Lexus tradition, the NX is available as a hybrid. The engine loses the turbo but gains a lot of extra power from the electric motor. And fuel economy is very high compared to other compact premium SUVs, 35 city with two-wheel drive. Some new hybrid innovations mean efficient battery packaging, plus new software that enhances the driving experience. Fuel economy will be a hook for Lexus in this segment, as will its design. The brand has been criticized in recent years for having rather bland styling. With this newest model, the design cues are amped up a bit. And it lets Lexus compete in one of the hottest segments in the automotive market right now. The NX200T and 300H go on sale later in the year. Dave Coons, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The iPhone 6 is such a hot commodity right now. Police in countries as far away as China are working overtime to stop smugglers from illegally bringing in and selling the new phones. Over the past few days, Chinese police have confiscated more than 1,000 iPhone 6 devices in 3 separate busts. The biggest bust included passengers flying in from Tokyo carrying hundreds of undeclared phones. Apple is expected to introduce the new phone in China later this month, but Chinese media say that date might be pushed back.
Legos are in high demand once again, thanks in part to the Lego movie that hit theaters over the summer. But it's also led to a Lego shortage. Independent toy stores in Canada say they are running out of the construction toys. They're told they won't be getting any new shipments until after the holidays. It's not clear if there will be a shortage of Lego items for the Christmas shopping season elsewhere. For now, the big box stores seem to be well stocked.
And
so get yours soon.
Yeah, that's good news. We have much more news still to come on Eyewitness News at 8:30, including the latest on the fight against ISIS.
And caught on video, an out-of-control monster truck plows into a crowd of spectators.
Plus, Jennifer Lopez and Leah Remini hit by a drunk driver on PCH. How Lopez is reacting.
And there could be some travel trouble this week after a fire at an air traffic control center. We'll tell you how repairs are going when we come back.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, two men, best friends, are both dead. I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Jory Rand. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Authorities say 23-year-old Gerard Taylor died after being accidentally shot in the head by a friend. Investigators say for some reason 24-year-old Dominique Barnett pulled out a gun. Taylor got into a struggle with his friend trying to take the weapon away. During that struggle, he was shot. Then Barnett shot himself. Police are interviewing witnesses.
It was a day of violent clashes between activists and police in Hong Kong. Police fired tear gas to break up tens of thousands of pro-democracy demonstrators outside central government offices. More peaceful protests also happened here in Southern California, including this one near the Chinese consulate in Los Angeles. The protesters are furious at new regulations that they say would allow China to handpick candidates for the next election.
Terrified spectators ran for cover at a Dutch car show after a monster truck crashed head-on into a crowd. 3 people were killed, dozens more were injured. ABC's Mara Schiavocampo has the latest.
Home video showing the moment a monster truck spectacle spins tragically out of control. Watch as the truck with tractor-trailer-sized wheels plows over a row of cars, knocking down a guardrail and then slamming into a group of horrified spectators. The accident happened at a small-town fair in the Netherlands. Officials say at least 2 were killed, including a child, and more than a dozen injured. It's not the first time we've seen monster trucks spin out of control. The massive trucks used in these shows can weigh more than 9,000 pounds, with tires more than 5 feet high. Last year, a truck lost control during a show in Mexico, killing 8 and injuring 79. In 2009, a 6-year-old boy in Washington state was killed by a flying piece of metal from a truck. But officials from the Monster Truck Racing Association say they are committed to the public safety.
We have developed standards for distances for spectators, direction of travel, all with the intent of keeping the spectators as far away as possible.
As for today's accident, the show's organizers say that truck's driver is being questioned. They think that the gas pedal may have gotten stuck, or perhaps the brakes failed. Mara Schiavocampo, ABC News, New York.
It's a horrible story. In South Los Angeles, a man is dead after being hit by 2 cars, one of them with a suspected drunk driver behind the wheel. Police say the 35-year-old victim was stepping out onto Vernon and Central just after midnight. According to officers, a car going east hit him first. The impact tossed the man into the opposite lane, where he was hit by a second car. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, where he later died. Police say the driver of the first car was arrested for DUI. They let the other driver, go. And Jennifer Lopez and actress Leah Remini were hit by an alleged drunk driver in Malibu. J-Lo reacted by posting a selfie. Lopez and Remini were driving down PCH when the suspected drunk driver rear-ended them at about 8 o'clock last night. Lopez's 2 kids were in the car with them. Deputies say the driver took off but was arrested a short distance away. Lopez expressed her anger on Instagram, posting this selfie with Remini. She wrote, quote, "Thank God everyone okay," along with a bunch of hashtags, including "Curse that fool out," "Don't drink and drive," and "Leah stayed calm."
I think Leah staying calm is a big deal.
Yeah.
The Ventura County Sheriff's Department is searching for a man with a gun making criminal threats. It all started around 10 o'clock yesterday morning when deputies responded to an El Rio neighborhood where they say 21-year-old Ralph Lopez was threatening to harm family members. SWAT teams set up a perimeter on Will Avenue and shut down several streets for hours. Road closures were lifted early yesterday evening when investigators gave the all clear. Lopez still has not been located. If you see him, you're asked to call 911.
It's enough to make a car lover burst into tears. A man was driving his classic Ford in Huntington Beach this morning when someone ran a red light. And this is what's left of that 1929 Ford Classic. Its owner was on his way to a car club meeting at about 6 a.m. Police say that's when another car ran a red light and hit the Ford. They say the driver at fault was also unlicensed and did not have a valid insurance insurance card. The driver of the Ford suffered moderate injuries. There's no word whether his classic car can be repaired.
It could be a miserable week to travel after a fire started by a disgruntled worker destroyed an air traffic control center in Illinois. The effects still being felt all around the country. About 600 flights were canceled today at Chicago's 2 international airports. ABC's David Curley has more on the race to repair the damage.
Passengers still passing time in line with air traffic control around Chicago still down.
It's been very crazy.
But at least the passengers knew there were problems.
Just really frustrated trying to get through the line now.
With control centers around Chicago picking up the slack, about 70% of flights are getting in and out. Still more than 500 Chicago flights canceled on Sunday. The problem? The damage was so extensive to the regional center outside Chicago when a 36-year-old contractor who worked in that building sabotaged equipment, started a fire, and then tried to commit suicide. One official says there is so much blood, it's a biohazard. Along with that, fire and water damage and cut cables. So the FAA has decided to build a duplicate system assembled inside the building, the first equipment arriving later tonight. Building a new center will take days, meaning the delays and cancellations will last at least 2 weeks.
Actually, it's affecting the whole world. Traffic coming from Europe and Asia flying to Chicago are impacted likewise simply because they have to absorb some of the delay.
One FAA official described the impacts on Sunday as being similar to a bad weather day. The problem is we had the potential of 14 bad days ahead. David Curley, ABC News, Washington Reagan Airport.
U.S. warplanes have now expanded their strikes in Syria, bombing ISIS targets to protect Kurds from being overtaken by the extremist group. Since Friday, the U.S. military has launched more than a half a dozen strikes in Syria. Officials released video of one of the airstrikes yesterday. They say it shows a missile hitting an ISIS compound. Other missiles hit 2 armed vehicles at a border crossing with Turkey. The strikes are believed to be the first known coalition attacks near the border with Turkey. There are ongoing strikes in Iraq as well.
House Speaker John Boehner says the United States may have no choice but to send American troops to fight ISIS on the ground.
At the end of the day, I think it's going to take more than airstrikes to drive them out of there. At some point, somebody's boots have to be on the ground. That's the whole point. We have no choice. These are barbarians. They intend to kill us. And if we don't destroy them first, we're going to pay the price.
Speaker Boehner told ABC's George Stephanopoulos he does not believe President Obama's strategy will destroy ISIS. He also criticizes the president for saying he won't send in ground troops. President Obama wants to rely on Iraqi forces, Kurdish fighters, and soon-to-be-trained Syrian rebels for that ground campaign.
Jane Fonda is among the stars at a special fundraiser today.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll show you why the cause is so important to many in Hollywood.
And we'll take you to a special festival in downtown LA where food was the main attraction.
Always a good attraction. Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. Well, we're looking at some clouds tonight, but oh, the sunshine is coming too. I'll tell you about that in 7 Day coming up in a bit.
A star-studded brunch in Beverly Hills today to raise money for the Rape Treatment Center and Stewart House in Santa Monica. Actress Jane Fonda hosted the event, revealing to the audience of activists and philanthropists that her mother had been sexually abused and eventually committed suicide. The fundraising brunch marked the 40th anniversary of the Rape Treatment Center. It provides free, state-of-the-art care to rape victims and sexually abused children.
It takes courage to speak. It takes courage to say what's happened. But that's the first step of healing, and one can heal. One can be saved.
Emmy Rossum, Lily Tomlin, and Eric McCormick are some of the other stars who showed their support at today's event.
A special festival today at Olvera Street in downtown LA. Looks like fun. Today was the 7th annual Mole Fair. People came to get a taste of Mexico and enjoy a diverse array of dishes from several restaurants. Along with the food and performers, there was music, folklore, art, and special guests to enjoy.
Unless you're Jory, veggies don't normally get your mouth watering.
But they're so good. I was wondering where you were going with that. They're so good. Farmers here in California are trying to lure you into some produce products with a unique taste. While you may be serving Yemen squash or Japanese melons for dinner, if you haven't already.
Yes, and the Dodgers looking like they're ready for the playoffs as they finish the season in style. Highlights coming up in sports. A perfect day for the 16th annual Wiggle Waggle Dog Walk in Pasadena. People and their dogs took a walk around Brookside Park and the Rose Bowl. This is the largest fundraiser of the year for the Pasadena Humane Society. Organizers hope to raise $375,000. I love this video. Money will help provide food, shelter, and medical. Danny. medical care to hold
I'm glad you said that was Danny. People would have thought that was me.
The team, Punk Rock Rovers, has been the #1 fundraising team 8 years straight.
We are supporting spay and neutering here, raising money for it so that we can help our community with low-cost spay and neuter and vaccinations. So this is for the animals.
The Pasadena Humane Society says it takes in nearly 12,000 homeless animals each year. Great work.
Yeah, Danny asked earlier why the dogs sniff the front of the camera. I'm just curious why they don't go around I thought dogs sniff the back of the camera. I thought that's how they...
You'd think that.
No?
No.
That just means...
Yeah.
All right, here's a question. Here's a question for you. Have you ever tasted an Uganda eggplant or a Yemen squash? Because they're just two of many unique plants growing right here in Southern California that are native to other countries around the world.
So you've had them?
I've had all of them.
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't. I want to learn a couple new ones.
Our food coach Lori Corbin took a trip to the LA Fairplex to see some unusual produce and find out how to cook it up for the family. Take a look.
The LA Fair has rides, games, animals, and lots of crispy food. But wander further out to the gardens, you'll find some crazy produce.
We're doing the California Specialty Grant project that we got from the State of California Egg Department.
The 5-acre year-round farm at the Fairplex in Pomona received over $400,000 to grow things found in soil found from around the world, showcasing unusual plants to create a very specialized organic garden.
A lot of it goes to our educational purposes here at the fairgrounds, to educate to the children and the adults what they can do with their diet.
Horticulturist Don Delano says this oversized chalky melon is a prime example.
These are called Japanese wax melons. They're really funny because when they start to grow, they're prickly and they have these little hairs on them.
Picked, then stored for 3 to 6 months. It tastes like honeydew. And this tiny pepper packs big heat.
These are called bird peppers. They're a type of Peking pepper, and they're one of the hottest peppers known in the world next to habaneros.
While this plant, called Jew's mallow, has a spinach-like leaf but gets almost a gooey consistency that is used to thicken soup. The Fairplex asked Italian chef Antonio Cagnolo to make culinary magic with their bizarre bounty.
My challenge today is to create some incredible Italian dishes with some incredible vegetables from all over the world.
And he did. Yemen squash soup with a peppermint Swiss chard and UFO squash, sliced, cooked, and topped with parsley, parmesan, and breadcrumbs. Remember the big chalky squash? Use a melon ball scoop and serve it up with prosciutto and mozzarella.
If you're not much of a chef, try a finger lime. The chef said you can squeeze these all over a good fish dish or try it in a refreshing drink.
While the fair ends September 28th, the farm grows on. So why not head out and see if anything inspires? Lori Corbin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
I can say I've never tried any of those exotic fruits or vegetables. I have not.
Vegetable aficionado on the desk, and you've not had those?
The way that chef cooked it, all looks
way
delicious.
Too much credit. Looks delish.
Mm-hmm.
Serve some up. You forgot that we had dinner already, I guess, huh?
It wasn't enough, apparently.
Is it ever?
Wasn't enough, Danny.
Well, okay, if the cool wasn't enough for you, too, we'll get another day of that. But then, if you want some heat, that's coming back, too. Let's go outside. A Sunday night view. Beautiful one, too, of LAX. Our live HD camera shows the clouds starting to make their way onto the coastal spots, bringing more of that cool air to keep us well below average for temperatures throughout the next few days. Downtown skyline of LA, also a few clouds moving in, and 67 degrees the temp, 73% relative humidity. Temperature-wise, today, 81 was the normal high. We only got to 79, though. Sunset, a gorgeous one at 6:41. Tomorrow morning, watch the sun rise at 6:46, and you'll see how deep the cloud layer goes from the coast to the inland spots overnight through the morning hours, backing off during the daytime, of course. But then watch again Monday night into Tuesday. A little different view, less cloud cover and less penetration as well. So that's a hint of things to come. Right now, this low trough is working on our area with that onshore flow around that low. That's bringing us the cooler air, the clouds, and all that nice below average temperatures over the Southland. But what's going to change is when about Tuesday or Wednesday, this ridge of high pressure moves in, we'll see no cloud cover at all. We'll just see very, very warm, even hot days with temperatures jumping up to the triple digits and also nighttime numbers. Pretty warm as well. Tonight, though, look at this. Not bad at all. 61 for Pasadena, 62 for Malibu, 58 for Fillmore's overnight lows. Then the highs tomorrow, a warm day, but not exceedingly hot at all. That's still to come. 83 Santa Clarita, 80 for Glendale, 81 for Pasadena. Ontario gets to 82, Huntington Beach to 77, and Beaumont tops off at 80 degrees. Now watch the changes. 7-day power back weather with morning clouds. A cooler day tomorrow, below average temperature-wise, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, we get to the 80s, but oh no, we're not done yet. We jump up to the 90s by Thursday, and Friday take it to mid-90s by Saturday. The Valley's Inland Empire, get ready here. We go from 84 up to 88 and then to 98 in one day on Thursday, and then more temperatures rising to 105, the hottest day coming on Saturday. Mountain areas will be cloudy tomorrow, a chance of showers, a slight chance, and then clearing out but staying cool for a few more days in the 60s, and then a slight bump up to the lower 70s to 76 by Saturday. Mountain areas all week looking pretty good, actually. And the high desert, there we're seeing a sunny, breezy kind of Monday, and temperatures at 81, not bad at all. Even when it gets up to 89, still not bad on a Thursday. Still the winds kick in, and by the weekend, we'll see those 80s become low 90s, taking us to 92 to 93 by Saturday. So the high desert's certainly warm, but those inland spots, Inland Empire and the valleys, that will be triple digits next weekend.
Wow.
Get ready for the heat.
Yep.
Thanks, Danny.
Danny, thanks. The Dodgers are ready for the postseason, but today they took it a bit easy. Don Mattingly handing over managerial duties to Juan Uribe, Clayton Kershaw serving as the team's pitching coach. And they finished out the season against Colorado. They used the long ball against the Rockies today. Matt Kent gets things going in the first. 2-run shot to left. He's 25th of the season. Then in the third, Adrian Gonzalez goes deep. 3-run shot puts LA up 5-0. Gonzalez 27th of the year, finishes the season with 116 RBIs, most in the majors. Zach Greinke tossed 5 innings, allowing just 1 run. He picks up win number 17. Dodgers win 10-5, finish with 94 wins. The NL Central still up for grabs today, but the Pirates fell to the Reds 4-1. That gave the Cardinals the NL Central, which means the Dodgers will host St. Louis in the NLDS beginning on Friday. Pittsburgh will host San Francisco Wednesday in the wild card game. The winner goes on to face Washington in the NLDS. Speaking of the Nats, they look like they're ready for the playoffs. Jordan Zimmerman finishing off the regular season in style. Didn't allow a hit through 8, struck out 10 and a walk. Zimmerman looking for his first career no-hitter. 2 outs in the 9th. Christian Yelich with the liner. Looks like he's going to break up the no-no, but Steven Souza Jr. makes the diving catch to end the game, preserving the no-hitter. It's the first in Nationals team history, the first since they moved from Montreal. Angels wrapping up their season in Seattle. The Mariners looking to sneak into the playoffs, leading 1-0. They added 3 runs in the 4th. Mike Zunino brings home a pair of runs. Mariners up 4-0, more than enough for Felix Hernandez today. He goes 5 in the 3rd, striking out 7, didn't allow a run. 4-1 is the final. Angels finished with 98 wins, but the Mariners needed the A's to lose, and they did not. So it's Oakland who clinches that final playoff spot. They'll face Kansas City in the wild card game on Tuesday. The winner goes on to play at the Angels starting on Thursday. Tigers win the AL Central. They'll face the Orioles in the divisional round. In Boston, the Derek Jeter farewell tour finally came to an end today at Fenway. Red Sox legends on hand to say goodbye to the Yankees great, and the captain ends his career with an infield single to third. It brings home a run. They pulled him off of first to a standing ovation at visiting Fenway Park. Jeter finishes with a .309 batting average, 3,465 hits, 260 home runs, and 5 World Series rings. Yanks win at 9-5. Next stop for Jeter, the Hall of Fame in 5 years, and that's sports.
New tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Water seeps into a local home. The owner forced to pump thousands of gallons out. Where officials think the water is coming from. And a new study about teen birth control. Why IUDs may be the safest choice. Those stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Ahead on Eyewitness News here on LA56, we'll tell you what movie topped the box office this weekend.
And actor George Clooney and his new wife made their first public appearance after their weekend nuptials. We'll have the details. Actor George Clooney and his new wife, human rights lawyer Amal Alamuddin, made their first public appearance since getting married in Italy. The couple boarded a water taxi and cruised down the Grand Canal, followed by a large group of photographers and cameramen. Crowds gathered along the banks of the canal and atop a bridge to catch a glimpse of the Hollywood star and his wife. The two navigated toward the Cipriani Hotel, where Clooney has been staying while in Venice. The news media has speculated that the couple will also have a civil ceremony tomorrow.
No movie out right now came close to equaling the success of this weekend's box office winner.
I'm offering you a chance to do the right thing. Take it. That's the only one you're going to get.
The Equalizer took the top spot, bringing in $35 million. Denzel Washington stars as a retired intelligence officer who goes up against Russian gangsters in the action thriller based on the 1980s TV show. The Maze Runner took second place with an estimated $17.5 million. The Box Trolls, This Is Where I Leave You, and Dolphin Tale 2 round out the top 5.
Zombies,
will not be a story we're talking about tonight because there's no time left.
They're dead.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 11 on ABC7.
Well,
have a great night.
Undead.
That's what they are. Exactly.
Each string of beads represents a year of survival. Loyanne Abella has 42 beads around her neck.
It's nothing to be frightened of. There's plenty of support. Talk to your doctor.
When Loyanne was diagnosed, she says there was not a lot of information about breast cancer, and it was a